Hello, welcome to part 5 of the third weekly lesson about Oracle PL SQL, introducing stored procedures and functions. As we have already seen in the previous video on exception handling, Jill developed an employee entry form in the HR administration system to add new employee records to the HR database. While processing new employee records and updating the employee entry form, Jill has to perform the following steps, such as Step 1. Validate the job ID. Step 2. If the job ID is valid, then insert all detail of the employee such as name, date of birth, job title, salary, and so on. Step 3. If the job ID is not valid, then write it to a log file. Jill wonders if there is an option to store the validation logic and other executable steps as a program unit and reuse it whenever required. Yes, there is an option. PLSQL allows you to store such executable steps as subprograms. To be specific, Jill can store it as stored procedures, which is a standalone PLSQL executable statement that performs one or more actions. However, it does not return a value. On the other hand, the validation logic that determines whether the job ID matches or not by returning a Boolean value, such as yes or no, can be stored as a function. Functions are PLSQL program units that perform a particular task and return a value. Jill has now clearly understood where to use subprograms. Let's quickly summarize what is a subprogram. A subprogram is a PLSQL block. There are different types of PLSQL blocks. In this lesson, we will learn about stored procedures and functions. A stored procedure is a standalone PLSQL executable statement that performs one or more actions. It does not return a value. A function is also a PLSQL executable statement. A function always returns a value, and this differentiates it from a stored procedure. Before we proceed further, let us quickly refresh our knowledge about the difference between an anonymous block and a subprogram. An anonymous block is an executable statement that can contain PLSQL control statements and SQL statements. As the name suggests, an anonymous block is an unnamed sequence of actions. Because they are unnamed, other program cannot reference or call them. They are declared inline and compiled each time when executed. An anonymous block is not stored in the database. Anonymous blocks do not return any value. You cannot pass any parameters in anonymous blocks. A PLSQL subprogram is a named and stored block of PLSQL code. You design these subprograms to perform a task and to return a value. A subprogram can be invoked by other programs which are known as calling programs. You can store a subprogram in the database. Function, a type of PLSQL subprogram, returns a value. You can pass parameters or variables in a subprogram. Stored procedures and functions have a number of benefits. Performance. After creating a stored procedure or a function, you can compile it once and store it in executable form. You can invoke it with a single call, thereby making the process quick and efficient. Scalability. Stored procedures and functions can increase scalability by consolidating application processing on the database server. Security. You can set privileges on stored procedures. By doing so, you can restrict access to Oracle data. For example, you can allow access to a procedure that updates a database table but deny access to the table itself. Easy to replicate. By using Oracle Advanced Replication, you can replicate stored procedures from one Oracle database to another. Easy to maintain. Once a stored procedure is validated, it can be used with confidence in any number of applications. However, if the definition changes, then the procedure is affected and not the applications that call it. In this video, you should have learned about the scenarios in which you can use stored procedures and functions and how they differ from each other. You also learned how anonymous blocks differ from PLSQL subprograms. And finally, you learned about the benefits of stored procedures and functions. In the next video, you will learn how to create a simple procedure and invoke it from an anonymous block. To practice what you've learned, solve the assignment posted for this video on the OLL course page. Please post your questions, if any, in the course forum, whose link is shown here. Thank you for watching this video. Have a great day.